Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to put our planet Earth knowledge to the ultimate test with a super fun quiz challenge. Let's find out if you're a true Earth genius.
So what do you think? How well do you really know our home planet? Let's dive right in and see what you've got.
So our challenge today comes straight from the pages of this awesome book, Earth Knowledge Genius. We're going to dig in and pull out some of the wildest, most surprising facts, and it's your job to see how many you can nail. Ready?
All right, before we get to the really tough questions, let's do a quick warm-up. We'll get our brains in gear with some of the basics about our amazing home.
You know, when you see Earth from space, you get that iconic blue planet look. Well, that's because oceans cover almost 3/4 of the entire globe, but underneath all that water, there's a whole lot going on. So our planet is kind of like a giant onion. It's got layers. We're living on the crust, which is actually a super thin outer shell. Right below us is the mantle, a thick, hot layer. Go deeper and you hit the liquid outer core. That's where swirling molten metal creates our magnetic field, which is basically an invisible shield protecting us from nasty solar radiation. And right at the very center, a solid ball of iron and nickel that's as hot as the surface of the sun. Wow.
Okay, warm-up's over. It's time for our first real challenge round. We're heading to some of the most extreme places on Earth. Get ready for some questions about deserts.
Okay, now think carefully. We're not asking for the biggest or the hottest. We want to know which desert has been around the longest. Got a guess in mind?
And the answer is the Namib Desert. You can find this ancient landscape running right along the African coastline.
Now here's what's so wild about the Namib. It gets almost all of its water from fog that rolls in from the sea. It's so incredibly dry that some parts of it haven't had a single drop of rain in 400 years. Can you even imagine that?
All right, let's keep this ball rolling. This one might be a little more familiar to you. When you picture a huge, classic, sandy desert, which one pops into your head?
Yep, you probably guessed it. It's the Sahara. This absolute giant of a desert stretches across 11 countries in North Africa. It is, of course, famous for those incredible rolling sand dunes.
Nice work on the deserts. Now, let's leave all that sand behind and head somewhere a little greener. For round 2, we're diving into the world's wonderful forests.
So we're not talking about the tallest tree here, but the biggest. The one that takes up the most space. You know, the heavyweight champion of trees. Any ideas where this absolute giant is hiding?
And the answer is California's Sequoia National Forest. This place is just packed with some of the most massive living things on the entire planet.
But here's the thing. General Sherman isn't just huge, it's ancient. We're talking somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 years old. Just try to imagine all the history that tree has lived through. It's mind-boggling.
You are doing great. For our final challenge, we're going to switch things up with a lightning-fast bonus round all about one continent, North America. Let's see how you handle these rapid-fire facts.
Okay, get a load of these extremes. The biggest country by land area? That's Canada. The smallest? The tiny island nation of St. Kitts and Nevis. The highest point on the whole continent is Denali in Alaska, soaring over 6,000 meters. And the lowest is Badwater Basin in California, which sits 86 meters below sea level.
Okay, now for our next one. Just look at this number, 50 centimeters. That's about 20 inches. What in the world could that possibly be?
You are not going to believe this. That's roughly how much Mexico City is sinking every single year. Because so much groundwater is being pumped out from under it, the ground is literally compacting and the whole city is dropping.
And let's wrap up the bonus round with a man-made wonder. Ever wondered how a giant cargo ship crosses from one ocean to another through Panama? Well, first, you gotta pay a fee. Then, your ship enters a series of locks that act like a giant water elevator, lifting it 26 meters up. Then you cruise across a massive artificial lake. Finally, another set of locks lowers you back down to sea level. The whole trip takes about 8 to 10 hours.
Well, you made it through the quiz. Now, whether you aced it or just learned a few new things, I've got one final, genius-level fact that is guaranteed to blow your mind.
That's right, you heard me. As wild as it sounds, the speed at which our planet spins is actually, gradually, getting slower.
Now don't worry, you don't need to adjust your watch anytime soon. This is happening incredibly slowly. But get this, in about 1 billion years, a single day on Earth will be 27.5 hours long. How crazy is that to think about? So from its fiery core to its ancient deserts and towering forests, our planet is just packed with incredible wonders and secrets. And that's all for today. You see, the only real question is, what are you going to be curious enough to discover next?